What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about every DLC weapon coming to Season 5 of Black Ops 6 in Warzone. Definitely stay tuned. Now, I gotta admit, I'm a bit bummed out that we're getting fewer weapons this time around compared to previous seasons, but just about every single year during Season 5 is when the multiplayer beta begins for the next Call of Duty anyway, so if you're somebody jumping into that, or even what could be the Battlefield 6 beta coming up real soon, then I'm sure you're not too upset about the lack of more DLC weapons within our 5th season here. With that being said, though, it unfortunately looks like we're not going to be seeing any new DLC perks either. I feel like Black Ops 6 is probably done with adding in new perks or equipment into the game, but I'll tell you what, if we weren't getting back-to-back Black Ops games, I think expectations would be even higher for a season like the 5th one, or possibly even the 6th, but coming off of what felt like a filler season, which was Season 4, I think some folks out there are just ready for something new. Regardless of that, though, jumping into the combat bow, which got officially confirmed here inside of our roadmap, it looks like all of the weapon leaks, or just about all of them, as we'll get back to in a second, did end up coming true, most of which are actually relevant for Season 5. The combat bow, which did cost 500 score in Cold War multiplayer, is also going to cost 500 score here inside of Black Ops 6 multiplayer. Now, it's been referred to as an event reward that we're likely not going to see until a couple of weeks after the season begins, so I'm betting by late August is when one of the events will kickstart, which will offer the combat bow as a bonus unlock. Now, it's certainly going to be one of the more inexpensive score streaks that we could use in BO6. Kind of a questionable add-on this late in the game cycle, but hey, a new score streak is a new score streak, and yes, it'll also be available in Zombies via the workbench at some point later this summer. But I know you guys are probably going to ask in the comments what's going on with the MP40. So when taking a look at all of the recent weapon leaks for Black Ops 6, the MP40 is amongst one of the only weapons that just isn't for Season 5. So considering how heavy of a leak that popped up online recently for the MP40, it has me thinking that it'll either be a surprise drop with Season 5 Reloaded, which I feel like is kind of unlikely because they haven't really done any surprise content that wasn't officially marketed during Reloaded. I mean, there's an exception with the TMNT melee weapons, but that's something completely different for a crossover. So I'm betting this will be one of the final weapons we see in Season 6 with the Haunting. We just gotta wait and see how long Season 5 is exactly gonna last. If I had to guess, the beta for BO7 will take place during this 5th season period. So Season 6 will likely kickstart, I wanna say, a week or so after the multiplayer beta, in which we'll get some of the final updates for this game. But taking a look at all of the Black Ops 6 rumors over the last couple of months, just about every single weapon leak has come true to an extent. And for example, the boxing gloves were also leaked out alongside the brass knuckles, I want to say 2-3 months ago, so it'll be cool to see whenever the brass knuckles also make their way into the game. But speaking of the boxing gloves real quick, it looks like there was either a mistake made or a correction made in a recent Call of Duty community post. So it does mention that the boxing gloves are going to be a melee weapon available at the launch of Season 5, which would be August the 7th. However, the boxing gloves are listed as an event reward for 90s action heroes, and that event is listed as an in-season update, which would mean a couple of weeks after August the 7th. So I'm gonna bet that they probably are still going to be a reward with 90s action heroes, unless that event kicks off the season, which I completely doubt. It's always possible, but as I mentioned in a recent video going over the early download, I'll have that link down below. 90s action heroes could either be an event that just pays homage to 90s movies, or is an actual large event with a bunch of 90s licensed crossovers. So regardless of which it is, I feel like the event itself probably won't start until at least a week or two after release. Regardless of which one it is, I don't think the event's gonna really drop on August 7th. I think that's already a busy weekend as it is, especially when considering that the Battlefield 6 beta begins at around the same time. Call of Duty's gonna wanna probably spread things out as best as they can over the course of late August and September. But hey, if they come out even sooner, fantastic. Next up, we have a weapon that I was pretty surprised to see with the initial reveal of Season 5, and it was first noticed in the key art, followed by being officially revealed through the roadmap. This is the Gravemark 357 Revolver, which actually leaked out many months ago through Warzone Mobile. Now, Warzone Mobile isn't getting any more updates, but the usual data miners and leakers did go through Warzone Mobile pretty often, and would sometimes find some content that was actually meant for Black Ops 6 or other Call of Duty titles altogether, and it puts in perspective how many months in advance some of these weapons could be in development or could be finished. So this is a pistol that will be available through a future challenge event. It's listed as a mid-season event reward, so probably sometime with or after the Reloaded update, which I do suspect will end up being in early September. But the weapon is considered a single action revolver with high power and considerable range, limited by lower ammo counts and segmented reload. So if you're running an assault pack, you'll have no problem rocking this as your main secondary, but the weapon also comes comes with the rapid fire attachment, or that's available to equip, I should say. It doesn't come with it, which will improve the revolver's rate of fire or dampen its heavy kick with recoil springs. Now, you're also able to akimbo this weapon, so yes, dual-wield revolvers will be available inside of Black Ops 6, but it makes you wonder if these are going to be the new snake shot metas within Warzone, or hey, even multiplayer. Also curious to see what they're going to do Pack-a-Punch, but immediately what comes to mind is the Python from BO1, or even the M1 Irons from Advanced Warfare, which were a ton of fun in just about every game mode. Now, we also have two Battle Pass weapons here in Season 5, the first of which is the PML 556, aka the M249 that we've seen in several other Call of Duty titles, or even the MK48 that we saw in Black Ops 2, so it's a bit of a classic LMG here, and we don't have too many LMGs inside of Black Ops 6, so a new one is certainly welcome. The base version is available for free on page 3 of the Battle Pass, whereas a blueprint called Overclock is going to be available as the HVT unlock on page 11, which will also come with a Black Cell blueprint. So the weapon itself will come with 39 levels to grind through, 100 bullets in its initial magazine size, and of course is a fully automatic weapon. It comes with a fast fire rate and high lethality offset by low mobility and hefty recoil. But I'm sure this thing will end up being one of the best, if not the best LMGs inside of Black Ops 6, and I'm curious to see what this could do against armored enemies in Warzone or some of the heavy elite enemies in zombies. I do love the fact that most DLC weapons come with secret abilities whenever you upgrade them, so we'll see if this one is anything special. But coming towards the end here, we have the ABR A1, aka the AUG. This was first seen in Black Ops 1 and did actually come back as a launch weapon in Cold War multiplayer. I know it could be a bit of a hot take here, but I feel like if a weapon is a launch one for a recent COD title, we shouldn't have to wait several seasons into a new game to get the weapon again. But either way, it's a pretty iconic weapon. It's going to be considered a 3-round burst assault rifle, but you could configure it to a fully automatic one when you use a fire mod. The base version is available for free on page 6 of the Battle Pass, whereas a blueprint called Dragon King is available on page 14, while there's also a Black Cell variant. As they mentioned, the weapon comes with good handling and power, but moderate recoil and range. But they do emphasize quite a bit the weapon doesn't offer the best range, so you're going to want to make sure that you equip the best attachments that you can to make sure this thing is actually viable. But to wrap things up, we do have 2 special attachments. I'm actually surprised we're getting at least 2, since earlier seasons were offering at a minimum of 4, but as you can see here, we first off have the Skull Splitter. Reminds me of the Mazu Skull Splitter we saw back in Black Ops 4. It's going to be a pretty cool attachment available for free on page 7 of the Battle Pass. As they mentioned, the barrel greatly increases damage, especially to the head, reducing the rate of fire though. Pair with an extended mag that gives the operator additional ammo for this weapon at the expense of handling. So it's going to make this pistol feel like a mini sniper rifle in a sense, where you just have some incredible range with one of the smallest weapons inside of the game. Really curious to see how useful this thing ends up being in just about every game mode as well. But last and certainly not least, we have the Helical Magazine for the PPSH. This is considered an in-season event reward that I'm sure will end up dropping before the beginning of Reloaded. They didn't give too much info on it, but they did say it puts other magazines to shame, and you can manage heat on this high ammo count mag that excels at spraying bullets in close and medium ranges. So it kind of sounds like you have unlimited ammo in the PPSH while you have to watch the fact that this mag will overheat. Could be something a bit more on the futuristic side, but either way, I haven't used the PPSH too much in BO6, simply because there's so many other viable SMGs as you're seeing gameplay of in the background with the Jackal. So I guess we'll see if this ends up becoming a top contender now that this attachment is coming into the fray. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on every DLC weapon we know of so far for Season 5? Do you think any mysterious weapons are going to be added during Reloaded, or do you think that's just about it, considering we have a beta probably just around the corner? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.